Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to finally reveal the white racket that I've been playing with for about 2 years. Many of you have asked me in the comment, Nick, are you playing with a Solinco Whiteout? Are you playing with a Wilson Shift? Are you playing with a Technifiber? And I can tell you, no, I am still playing. So now you're probably thinking, Nick, why did you paint it? Why didn't you tell anybody about it? And why you're making a video now? Well, I'm going to have to tell you the story so that it makes sense. So, I make tennis instructional videos, but I also make tennis equipment videos. And some of my tennis equipment videos, where I talk about rackets, perform really well. One in particular got more than 400,000 views. That's a lot of views for a video about tennis rackets. So naturally, a lot of people in the comments ask me, hey Nick, what racket are you using? And a lot of people go out and buy either the specific racket that I'm using or from the same brand. You couldn't believe how many people that come to me for lessons show up with this exact racket. Now look, I like not being affiliated with a company so I can give my honest opinions about products. But in this case, I thought I'm such a huge supporter of I love this particular racket more than any other racket that I've ever played with. If you want to know about my racket history, there's a really old video where I talk about some of the rackets that I used to play with. And it took me a while to find a racket that I like. And this particular model is my favorite racket of all time. Now, interestingly, it often gets slandered in the comments. People will make a general statement where these rackets cause tennis elbow, these rackets are terrible for the arm because they happen to be stiffer. And yes, of course, this racket in the wrong specification can be terrible for your arm, but thankfully it makes different type of rackets within each specific type of racket. And if you choose a racket that's going to suit your level and your athleticism and so on, these rackets actually are very playable and they're going to make your life on the court a lot easier and your arm is going to be very thankful. So I was the biggest defender of I had their back. I love their rackets. I was ready to use this racket for the rest of my life. I never had any intention of switching. So naturally, I reached out to them and I told them, listen, I make videos about tennis rackets every now and then and some of them perform really well. I mentioned the video that I got 400K plus views. And I told them, listen, people are buying these rackets just because I'm playing with them and because I'm talking about these rackets. So let's make a deal. First message I sent to was a DM. I got ghosted. Then I sent an email, no response. But after the 5th time of them not responding to me, I said, I'm gonna paint these rackets white and I'm never gonna mention the name ever again. So I had a video idea where I was talking about tennis rackets and I was sitting on a bench and I went to Home Depot and I bought a white can of spray paint. Now, if you want to paint your racket in a different color, don't do that. Send it to a professional customization place that are going to do it in a professional way where the weight of the racket is not going to change. So during the shooting of this video, I had a little bit of an accident and I got paint all over the grip. I got it all over my shoes, all over my legs. I didn't get it on the court because I had newspapers underneath it. So I couldn't release this video because quite frankly it looked ridiculous, but now I had a half white painted racket. So I asked my daughter, who's really into arts and crafts, she's been taking art lessons since she was 5 years old, hey, can you paint my rackets? I had 4 of them and she did a really good job. She painted the rackets white. But unfortunately, on some of my shots, I happened to scrape the ground. Or generally, you touch the ground with the racket without even noticing, and this paint started scraping off, and the blue underneath the paint started showing. So I said, look, I'm gonna need a more professional job. And I then contacted a friend of mine to paint my racket. And this person did a phenomenal job, but they put so many layers of paint on there that when I got the rackets back, all of a sudden, the racket felt extremely heavy. This racket originally is 300 grams, but after that second paint job, it felt more like 360 grams. And I have trouble generating power because I'm getting older in age, my athleticism is declining, but I could see a significant difference in my strokes. I was lacking pop, and all of a sudden, I don't like this racket anymore because it's too heavy. So what I did next was something that I always used to do. I went on eBay and I was gonna buy as many of these as I could. But unfortunately, this racket is discontinued. I also need the grip size 4 3/8. I can't play with any other grip size, and I could not find a single racket. So this means that now I am forced to switch rackets, and I'm currently testing new ones. Listen, it's very sad to say goodbye to my favorite racket of all time, but I'm gonna have to. I'm in touch with Jonas from Tennis Nerd, the absolute GOAT when it comes to tennis racket recommendations. I have a few rackets in mind, but what I want you to do in the comment section, I want you to suggest a racket that you think would be good for me. And I know that a lot of you guys think, hey, Nick, you're 6'5", you're a strong guy. Maybe you should play with a Head Prestige or a Yonex Percept or maybe even a Head Speed. But I can already tell you that I'm not gonna like these rackets. What you gotta do is think of me more as an unathletic woman, and you're gonna be more in the ballpark of what type of rackets that I like.